This bee balm is literally crawling with bees. Wow.
I just thought, a pink onion, why not try it?
Our hostas do well in Minnesota. They like our temperatures.
We have things blooming from early spring to late fall.
It's fun to imagine what this place will be like in a few years. We've just gotten started.
Hello and welcome to Great Gardening. I'm your host, Sharon Yung, and thank you for joining us for our second summer special. Tonight, we have another hour-long episode just for you. We're in the final stages of gardening in the season, and we've got a lot to cover. So as usual, we have our garden experts here with us, and they are horticulturist and educator Bob Olen and garden professional Deb Byrns Erickson. We want to hear from our gardeners across our region who have questions for our experts. We have phone volunteers from the Duluth Garden Flower Society standing by. So call locally at 218-788-2844 or simply email us at ask@pbsnorth.org. We're taking questions throughout the show, so call or email us now while we begin tonight's show with a look at the weather in our region.
Hartley Trail. Nice.
Lots of lush green vegetative growth just about everywhere. Just a wonderful, in many, many cases, wonderful growing season.
We'd love it.
We've had most cases like this, adequate rainfall. It's very interesting where they're trying to establish natives, and that's a mat for weed control to give them a chance to get a start.
Beautiful weather. It's been hot, humid, and hazy.
Yeah, and smoke was the little detriment to the growing season, but maybe it was beneficial in some ways. We can talk about that.
See what it does long term, won't we? It'll be interesting to know. More pollinators.
Pollinators, natives, yes. Which we used to call weeds, now we just call them
Right. They're not
pollinator-friendly
weeds
native plants.
It's been nice to see the butterflies out again.
Yes.
Let's just
Lush green lawns, lush. It all
Really
depends.
thick.
We'll talk a little bit about the difference in moisture and so forth, but in many cases, very, very lush landscapes.
So keep calling in your questions. And before we get to those, Bob, you wanted to talk about temperatures and rainfall, right?
Yeah, we have some loyal viewers, and of course we were following NOAA's. I got many friends that work for the Weather Service, and I value their contribution, but NOAA climate prediction, very difficult longer term, predicting hot, dry, hot, dry, hot, dry. In some cases it was hot and dry, but we had smoke in the air, we didn't get the hot temperatures, we had moderating temperatures. That was actually valuable. But we get moisture that we did not expect in June and July. July should be our driest month when the fruits are beginning to set, as in this case. But if we take a look at some of the statistics, it's highly variable in the area. These are some Duluth statistics. We've been drier than normal, and we'll give you just a recap. I know that's a little difficult to read, but we just have to get outside and away from Duluth, and you can see where we had excessive moisture. I used Hibbing as an example here, where they've had more moisture than average, in many cases a little more than what we really needed. But kind of a quick little recap of what we experienced. We'll show you this on the next slide, where in Duluth we've been down 2.73 inches of rainfall since June, and down 1.23 inches already in August. In Hibbing, up 2.68 inches of rainfall for the year, and up nearly an inch in August. So the remarkable thing was highly variable, which resulted in variable, different types of growing results. This was just one night's precipitation where we had variability all over the place, from virtually no precipitation to an inch or 2 or 3 inches. And this was common of so many of the storms that came through in the month of July. And July is critical. It's when we're really setting a lot of the fruit on a lot of our vegetable plants. So weather affects things so much, and in the case of excessive moisture in June, July, in many locations, this was beneficial. It encouraged the vegetative growth on what we call heavy feeders. Now, a heavy feeder is a plant that needs lots of nitrogen, lots of moisture, and you're going to result in heavy yields because of that. But we've also delayed the flowering and fruit set on what we call medium or light feeders. So it all depends on where you were at. Heavy feeders, sweet corn, the obvious one, needs nitrogen, needs moisture. Rain makes green, and that crop, if you add the moisture, looks really good this year. We've already got some that's coming in. The crucifer, the family, the cabbage family that we grow so well in this area, they love the moisture, and you'll get a large plant. Don't worry if your cauliflower hasn't set that nice flower head yet. It's got a big plant. It's going to give you a bigger head later. And then the vine crops, they're cucumbers, aplenty for most folks. Our melons, certainly zucchini, and now winter squash are setting up beautifully. And of course, our leafy greens, the lettuce obviously, but Swiss chard beets, they've been just marvelous because of all the moisture we've had. Sweet corn is an example here, coming along nicely. Cabbage family, cabbage setting, great big heads. Cauliflower, this is an interesting variety called cheddar, which if we had a little more time, that was a mutation that has now been developed. And the broccoli crop's been tremendous as well. Zucchini aplenty. And we have fun with that one, but there's nothing like zucchini bread and cake, in my opinion. And of course, Swiss chard in all the many, many colors. But the downside, the light feeders that had too much rain, even if you didn't use any fertility, tomatoes, for those of you, if you're in Duluth and they're dry, you get a tremendous tomato crop. If you had ideal growing conditions, water and fertility, it delayed the fruit set. In many cases, we're going to struggle with that particular crop. We'll show you some examples here. This, I'm afraid to say, is my tomato crop at one location. I do plant it several, but all of this, there's no fertility here. We just had rain when I should have been setting up fruit. So many people experienced that where there was a lot of rainfall. Onions didn't bulb as they should have. Again, they're light feeders, no extra fertility, but I will show you this. Here's an example, and we know that one right there, where we've got, if I look at the plant, I'd say, man, is that chlorotic? It's nitrogen deficient, but that plant was stressed, so it set fruit. So with tomatoes, we want to stress them a little bit so we get into the reproductive phase, and that's weather dependent. Some people are going to be very happy with that crop. Some people are going to be very disappointed depending on what your precipitation was in July.
Yeah, thank you so much, Bob. So now let's get to some of your questions. Leo from Cook wants to know how often to water a newly planted veggie garden.
Just what we talked about there.
Exactly.
Right? Newly planted. I mean,
You always want to get, if you got transplants in, you got to water every 2-3 days to get those roots set. They come out of maybe a greenhouse in most cases, so it's going to take 2 or 3 days, and then it depends on the amount of natural moisture that you have. Generally, once the roots are down there, an inch to an inch and a half on sands, an inch on heavier soils once a week. And instead of spritzing, let's drive those roots down so they don't come to the surface. One application of an inch to an inch and a half per week after they're established. Every day or every couple days when you're establishing it.
and water the transplants really, really well before you put them in.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Think to do that.
Yeah, that's a
and
great idea.
It
Yep.
sucks every bit of moisture out of the soil.
Sure, good tip. So Gail from Woodland has a raised garden bed that's 8x8. Has zucchinis and cucumbers. They have powdery mildew. The beans are doing fine, but she's wondering, is the powdery mildew, is there anything to prep for next year? She's cut off the bottom leaves. Speaking of water and humidity.
Well,
And location.
Yeah, powdery mildew, it's a relatively benign fungus.
absolutely.
It's
It's
not going to
just
kill the plant. It's ugly. There's already been some good productivity. The spores are everywhere. They're ubiquitous. There are some powdery mildew resistant varieties you could look for, but by and large, we don't worry too much about that. Vine crops later in the year, you can look for powdery mildew resistant varieties, different than downy mildew. Which people get those confused.
Much
How do you know
better
the
than having
difference?
downy mildew. Downy mildew, the leaf will flip, and then the mildew spores come out from underneath the leaf, and that will just defoliate and kill within days.
Everything.
And everything goes down then. And so it'd be much better to have powdery mildew
Yeah, so
than
be-
downy
be
mildew. So
thank-
be thankful. Yeah.
Thankful.
Be thankful.
And maybe she wants to think about how densely she planted them.
Yeah.
Give them a little bit more space. 'cause
Space to air
sometimes
out a little
people
bit, yes.
Plant too close.
And I will share this with you. I thought this was a little nuts, but I saw someone that actually had set a fan out to dry that tissue
100%.
down.
Absolutely.
Ran a big extension cord, and I chuckled initially until I saw the fact that there was no disease on those plants. So fungal disease takes 24 hours for that spore to actually germinate. If you can dry that tissue down within that period, you're not going to have a problem.
right.
So maybe that's not so crazy.
Yeah, setting the conditions. Carolyn Washburn wants to know if it's too early to cut peonies down. They have mold mildew already.
Did Greg get it?
It's not going to really hurt it if you did it. They are setting up their rootstock. And then maybe, I would guess they don't have a whole lot of foliar weight to them right now that they need to support. If there is still a lot of foliar weight, they are generating good roots.
Right.
But if it's not, and they're damaged and they're diseased, then you could probably at least get selective and clean it up so it doesn't look quite so bad.
I like to leave anything that's green there because that's
If it
what's
looks good, let it-
producing
yep.
sugars for the roots to get to the winters. So actually next year's productivity and bloom is being set
better.
this year depending on the growing conditions we're having.
Sure. Kathy from Carlton has lilac bushes that are not blooming, and they didn't bloom last year either. Do you have any suggestions?
So they didn't bloom last year,
We'd like to know how old they are.
right? Right.
I'm going to say if it's an old hedge, it's old wood. And believe it or not, it's that young wood. This is why we've recommended right after the bloom that you continually prune
Yep.
because it generates new growth.
growth. Yep.
And new growth, believe it or
get
not, is much
buds.
more productive than old growth.
So what is
We laugh
considered
more and
old?
more
We know,
about
we
that
know.
as we age.
What's old though? For
Hardwood. So they're
Okay.
really hard, and you want it a little bit soft, a little bit pliable, and so that it can set the buds on that softwood tissue.
Okay.
And those buds are setting right now. So if we have
Yeah,
if we have
yeah.
a dry fall and it's very dry in Duluth, let's get some water to the lilac.
You have to, because then that could be a part of a problem too.
Yeah.
Because it was really dry last year, and people had a real problem in their gardens this spring
Sure.
because of last fall.
So elderberry, can you prune it, and how far down? Milan and Woodland would like to know.
Yeah, elderberries.
Has it fruited? I mean, I would guess it's flowered and fruited. Then you can cut it. You can cut it in half safely, absolutely, and you'll get a nice thick flush for next year.
Yeah, it's a minor crop that's kind of overlooked and should not be, perhaps.
Lastly, Ron in Ely wants to prune oak trees. Is this okay to avoid disease or damage?
Oh, you don't want to touch your oaks right now.
Okay.
Oak
good.
wilt it will take down an oak tree just like that. The whole tree, it gets systemic. You never prune oaks unless you have storm damage, and I will
And
share
you have to
this
clean
with
it
you.
up, right? Right.
If you have damage and broken limbs on an oak, you're going to make a nice sharp cut. You're going to get an aerosol can of shellac, and you're going to shellac. That's the only time I really recommend. You'll get a nice barrier to prevent the fungi that causes oak wilt from getting into
Sure.
the tissue. Other than that, we always stay away from oaks during the growing season. That's a winter pruning project.
Okay. Great. Thank you. Deb,
Ooh,
you've got a
yes.
demonstration you'd like to share,
So-
and you have fall in mind, right?
Right, I do. Okay, so the mums are about to come in, and people are going to see mums everywhere pretty quick. Right now, there's nothing in any of the stores, and so when you're picking a mum, there are a few things to consider. If they're there in the store and they look good, get them right away. Because they come in from a greenhouse, they're grown pretty warm elsewhere, and they should be setting buds. Now, at my greenhouse, we grow a really early spring or early fall bloomer, because early fall is between September 9th and 15th, and they will start about 30% of their bloom. Some of the other places grow them under cloth, and they kind of force them into bloom. And they can be a little bit harder to manage, but one thing to do is look for good, fresh, young, a few bud sets, not a whole lot, when they first come in, because they will definitely give you a full show. Other thing to consider when you plant them, if you're going to leave them in the pot, they will require a lot more water in the pot. If you put it in a bigger pot, we're going to demonstrate later how to put it in a porch pot, then they're easier to take care of. Or some people like to put them in the ground, especially if there is a Minnesota mum. And Minnesota mums get huge, and they'd be blooming by now anyway, and they get really big, but they require being in the ground, and they are hardy. So and they also, mums love full sun. And full sun in a container sucks a lot of water, especially if a mum is full of flower, you better be watering, because you know a fresh cut flower, how much it sucks out of even a vase. A plant will suck out much, much more. So you'll be watering it quite a bit. Check if you have it in a container that it doesn't get, that there isn't space between it and the edge, because the water will run through, and you're going to think that you watered it well, but the water just ran right through it because it needs to either put a fresh layer of soil on top to catch the water, or just make sure you water it lightly 3 or 4 times.
Can you bottom water it?
Oh, you could. Absolutely, you could. Yeah, that's a great idea. If you have those kind of containers where you have it set up. And they come in multitudes of colors. We also like, they'll come in mixed container or mixed little bowls. Then you got to watch it a little bit more on how you water. But full sun, a good amount of water, and like you can set them, it's kind of, people like to decorate with them, but I would decorate where they're kind of grouped together so you can hit them easier and so that you can really water them thoroughly. Because some days in the fall, in September, when they're fully starting to bloom, they really are going to suck water almost every day, like any other plant would for you. So just be on the lookout for some really fresh ones when they come in, then grab them and look for ones that might not have a heavy bloom on them, but a good heavy bud. These ones we've been growing all spring, actually we did rooted cuttings on these back in March, like March 1st. And so we've cut them back, and when they start to bloom, we would cut them back. So you can manage your own at home too, and they'll show up with a really bright feature, and it refreshes your porch, and it just makes everything look fresh in fall. That color,
Yeah,
those
the
colors
colors
are great.
spectacular. Summer Winter Hardy, that was one of the
Yep, the Minnesota Mammoth Mums.
Series. Yep.
Yes, they're wonderful, and they start to bloom in almost June and July. And if you're on it deadheading and making it so they don't set any seeds or they're attempting to set seed, then they will bloom all the way through September.
Beautiful, exciting for fall. Thanks, Deb. So now we're going to take you to Hibbing to check out former master gardener Judith Johnson's beautiful garden with a focus on native plants. Let's take a look.
I live over on the west side of Hibbing, and I found my inspiration probably from my mother, liked to garden. This is actually the property I grew up on. So I've always been interested in plants and flowers, and truthfully and honestly, I love bugs, I love snakes. I grew up keeping garter snakes in my dresser drawers. I used to collect a lot of bugs until my mother told me how important they were to pollinating and I should let them go. So I never kept them again. She was a science major, so she knew a lot about bugs. So I like bugs and flowers kind of go together. You know, I just love everything about it. I love spending time outside. I love weeding. You know, you can just go someplace in your mind when you're weeding. I love watching my plants grow. They become your babies. So I get so excited when I see one come back. And then I get sad. I lost, last winter, for some reason, lost all my culver's root. So, and I really loved that plant. It did not come up this year, and who knows why. That's the other part about it, is like, and then I've done this letting things go to seed more, which I never used to do. So I have columbine coming up everywhere, and giant blue anise hyssop coming up everywhere, and I just enjoy that too. So it's just like a thrill every time you go into the garden, because I'm strange like that. I think where I planted the birch tree and the pine tree, and I've really, I would say 90% of the plants in there are native plants, and I just think it's beautiful. I love when plants bloom, but I love the textural aspect of plants. It doesn't always have to have flowers. If you look out there, all the different textures, the colors of green, the design is, I think, is just beautiful. And throw a log in there. I left a stump back there. So adding that little bit of nature, and there again, I have a little wood pile back there where I put all the sticks that fall around the yard, and I did see a wonderful big fat toad. Scared me half to death yesterday, but you know, that's why you do it, because you're seeing that type of thing.
Thanks for tuning in to our Great Gardening Special. I'm Tara Billman, Annual Giving Manager here at PBS North, and I'm joined by Natalie Hust, our Director of Development.
It's great to be here. Can you believe it's already mid-August? We've got that blend of late summer sun and harvest time bounty, and everywhere you look, gardens across the Northland are showing off in the best way right now.
They really are. The flowers are blooming, the veggies are coming in, everything's at that perfect sweet spot. I've really been outside every chance I get, soaking it all in.
And we know many of you are doing the same, and we love seeing your photos and hearing how great gardening has helped you learn how to grow. And this show is a community effort, and it's here because of you.
That's right. So if you value great gardening, this is your moment to give back. Our goal during this show is $1,200. That's just 10 people giving $10 a month. Head over to pbsnorth.org or call 218-788-2844 to help us reach it before the end of this special.
And your support keeps Bob and Deb coming back each season with practical tips from our unique growing conditions. It's like a personal gardening class in your living room.
And if you've missed any episodes, no worries. There's a whole archive of past shows waiting for you anytime on the PBS North YouTube channel.
That local expertise is priceless. And when you support great gardening, you're also helping us bring you local favorites like Almanac North and Native Report. Programs that reflect and share our region's stories.
That local connection, it's really what makes PBS North truly special, and it's support from viewers like you that keeps it all going.
And when you give now, we have some great ways we'd like to say thanks. Let's take a look.
When you invest in PBS North, you help keep great gardening growing strong, bringing expert advice and inspiration to your community. Support PBS North with a gift of just $7 a month as a sustainer. And we'll send you the Glass Propagation Plant Station, a stylish wooden frame holding 4 glass tubes, perfect for rooting cuttings and helping your plants thrive. Its elegant vintage design fits beautifully in any space. With a sustaining gift of $10 a month, you'll receive the 4-Season Farm Gardener's Cookbook, a beautiful 2-in-1 guide that shows you how to grow what you eat and cook what you grow, packed with 120 seasonal recipes and practical tips. This cookbook helps you make the most of your garden's bounty all year long. When you contribute $15 a month, we'll thank you with a 1-year subscription to Northern Gardener Magazine, an award-winning publication full of expert advice and seasonal guidance, tailored especially for gardeners in our region. Your support ensures PBS North can continue to deliver local stories, expert gardening tips, and inspiration all year round. Make your gift today by calling 218-788-2844 or visiting pbsnorth.org. Thank you.
When you invest in PBS North, you're supporting more than great shows. You're helping to inspire young minds. As a parent, I've seen how our children's programming sparks curiosity, it builds confidence, and it lights up imagination every single day. These shows aren't just screen time. They're story time, science time, and imagination time.
And if you love to keep learning, you know how important it is to have PBS North as a resource. Our programs explore history, science, culture, and the issues that shape our daily lives. They do more than inform. They connect us to new ideas, fresh perspectives, and to each other.
We are also storytellers for the Northland, highlighting the people, places, and history of our region. You'll see familiar faces, local landmarks, and stories that resonate because they're part of our shared experience.
And we're committed to meeting you wherever you are, whether that's watching on TV, streaming on the PBS app, or discovering something new on our YouTube channel. No matter how you connect with PBS North, our goal remains the same, making sure everyone has access to the inspiring educational content.
But none of this would be possible without you. Visit pbsnorth.org or call 218-788-2844. And together, we'll keep public media strong in the Northland.
We are PBS North. We live in your region, telling your stories, connecting communities, bringing the world to you. We do it all for you. But we can't do it without you. We are PBS North.
PBS North is more than television. It's a commitment to education, connection, and access for everyone.
One of the best ways to support PBS North is by becoming a sustainer. An ongoing monthly donation, whatever fits your budget, ensures PBS North is here for you now and into the future.
Sustainers help us plan ahead and keep administrative costs down so more of your gift goes directly to the programs and outreach.
It's easy to get started, and your support will make a lasting difference.
Call 218-788-2844 or visit pbsnorth.org to set up your sustaining contribution right now.
Sustaining membership is an easy, convenient, and an affordable way to support the programs you love. Sustaining members make an ongoing monthly contribution from either their credit card or checking account. Just choose the monthly amount you'd like to give, then go online, and we'll get it set up for you. If you want to change your sustaining membership, just contact us. Monthly contributions start as low as $5 per month. Go online. Start your sustaining membership right now.
We are about to get back to the show, but please take a moment to join your friends and neighbors in supporting PBS North. Our volunteers are ready to take your call.
And a big thank you to Sir Benedict's Tavern on the Lake for providing dinner for our volunteers and crew, and to the Duluth Garden Flower Society for answering your calls. But we still have that $1,200 goal to hit, and we're going to need your help.
If you've never given before, now's a great time to start your first sustaining donation. If you're already a member, thank you. And if you can, consider adding a couple of dollars to your monthly gift.
You can do that right now by calling 218-788-2844 or by visiting pbsnorth.org to make your contribution. Thank you so much for your support and for standing with PBS North.
It's a beautiful day in this neighborhood.
We are the curious.
Wow! The adventurous.
Oh!
Grrr.
Those venturing out for the first time.
And those who've never lost our sense of wonder. You seeing this?
We are the hungry.
The strong.
I must be the greatest.
The joyful.
A happy little cloud.
We believe there is always more we can uncover.
More we can explore.
We believe in the capacity for goodness.
And the potential for greatness.
The torch has been passed to a new generation of Americans.
PBS. PBS.
PBS.
Those are some incredible thank you gifts for your support. Now, back to more great gardening. Now, Bob, you've got a demo you'd like to share.
Yeah, we had questions about these yellow flowers on our roadsides, so I started to pay a little bit of attention to that, and maybe we've got a slide or two here. They're everywhere, and this is what I've called roadside wonders, because right now this yellow color's out there everywhere, but the low flowering plants that are on the roadsides everywhere, this is bird's foot trefoil. And you can just take a little look as you're driving, and this is the flower of that particular plant, and we'll show you what the leaves look like. There's a leaf. It looks like a bird's foot, so that's where the name comes from. It is a legume, meaning it fixes its own nitrogen, so it will grow in low fertility soils. But why is this proliferated? We took a little closer look. It's a legume, so it'll grow where there isn't a lot of fertility. So it does grow where there isn't any nitrogen, which is typical of roadsides. And then it's salt tolerant, which is really interesting. So typically you might see other legumes like clover, but clover is not nearly as salt tolerant. So that's why we're seeing so much of that. But we've got these beautiful yellow flowering native plants that are in the area, including, and we'll show you some tansy. Now people kind of chuckle about tansy, but quite honestly, we were harvesting. We had some people, entrepreneurial in northern Minnesota, that were clipping this at that perfect stage. They were selling it to wholesaler, and I saw at the auctions in the Netherlands, I saw a buyer from our major supplier down in the Twin Cities that was buying at auction the tansy that we clipped in northern Minnesota. So, you know, it all depends. But it is a nice pollinator, and it's in our roadsides everywhere. We've got a couple of others that you'll see everywhere. Of course, our Rudbeckia, black-eyed Susan. They're out there. Take a look at the lake walk up near Brighton Beach. There's Rudbeckia or black-eyed Susan running everywhere up there, so they're beautiful. And of course, goldenrod. And you can see the pollinators right here. These are all good pollinator plants. Actually, the bird's foot trefoil is a real nice pollinator too. So you'll see a lot of our native bee populations that are really thriving on that. So it has a place, even though some of these plants are getting a little bit invasive because they have some kind of a competitive advantage that gives them just a little leg up over some of the other materials out there.
Thank you so much, Bob. Now let's get to some more of your questions. Kevin in Cloquet wants really big onions. What are the tricks to grow big onions?
Okay, I've grown a lot of onions, and mine aren't that big this year, so depends on the location. You really want to start with long day onions. Number one, you have to have something that's going to bulb up when you get 12 to 14 hours of sunlight. So you have to be very selective about your varieties. If he wants really large onions, unlike some other crops, the heavy feeders, you do not want to apply a lot of nitrogen. You want to have a good fertility in the soil. They're shallow rooted. You want plenty of moisture. I think some of the largest bulbing onions are probably our Walla Walla, which is
in Washington, yeah.
Yeah, the name and the variety comes from Washington. It's a real nice sweet onion. We've got two categories.
The flatter it is, the sweeter it is.
Right. And the early season onions, they got lower sulfur contents. They're great onion. They're very mild, but they don't keep very well. So you want to make your selection based on what its intended purpose is. But I would say getting in very early. Those transplants, starting from transplants, seed if you can locate them, put the transplants in the third week in April or the fourth week in April, and then water if it's real dry. They are a green plant, but be careful, not too much nitrogen, not too much additional moisture, and they should bulb up real nicely for you. You want that bulbing process to start right as those days are getting real long coming into June.
Sure. So we have a viewer that wants to know what's wrong with their azalea. They're mature azaleas that bloomed beautifully, but now the leaves had mottled brown spots and they're slightly curled. And the azalea gets full sun. This may be the second year this has happened.
Well, my go-to always is pH. On those things that are a little bit more temperamental, and you have to be careful of. But it could be 100 different things.
That's the problem. And this one, actually, if I can share this, came from one of our volunteers. So I went and talked with him.
You investigated, Bob.
I investigated because that isn't really quite enough information. This was an azalea that is in full sun, which, they'll do okay in full sun, but been around for a long time, so it's woody. They're seeing a decline in it. This is fungal disease that they've got there. It's not insect, but only when you search a little bit deeper and dig for that. Also, the pH has gradually risen a little bit. So the solution there is going to really be to try to drop that pH a little bit and get some fertility early, because they've lost some of next year's flowering bud because the leaves are curled up here. So we're going to get some ammonium sulfate is what you want to use to acidify and to supply the nitrogen just as the buds are breaking. And you don't want repeated fungal disease. That can be very damaging. 1 year isn't so bad, but 2-3 years in a row, that can be difficult. And so we want to do a little bit with a general purpose fungicide just to protect that. But that's
and they have to be
disease.
Careful, though, not to prune it now. Because
Yeah.
if there are any buds that are going to be set, they're going to be set now. Do it right after.
And it may take
if you want to clean it up, but
You're right, it may take a year off because the tissue has been damaged by the disease this year.
Sure. Robin in Superior has a vine that is growing up the trees. It's growing all over the plants. It's quite invasive. They keep pulling it up and it takes over the garden. They pull it up again. It's on the north side of the house. Are they doing more damage by pulling it up?
I want to know if it's cucumber vine,
I
that
would
wild
suspect
cucumber.
that.
And I hate it. We have it. It's all around our fencing, and this is the time of year that it really takes off. And so we still pull it. We pull it as much as we can, but pull it as soon as you see it, because then it might not have the seeds. The seeds are getting there right now, but you've got to try to get rid of it as quickly as you can without dropping as much seed as you can possibly prevent.
And that's, one thing we talk about the growing season, if you had moisture, the weeds took off like crazy. And you can get a seed bank there year after year, so you want to get them pulled before you have the pressure from the seeds.
Sure. Thank you. All right, let's get back to Hibbing to see more of Judith Johnson's beautiful garden.
So it is an aruncus is the name for it, and I'm not sure what family it's in. Some people actually call it a falsa stilbe, I believe too. But I don't think it's in the Astilbe family. I'm not sure, but yeah, it always puts on a great show. It's just about spent now. This does not move around, but it gets quite large. That's a little devil 9-bark, which is a miniature. It never gets any bigger than that. Usually puts on a nice show of flowers. This is White David, tall garden phlox. This is Rudbeckia, and it will poke out of here. And this is White David also. So when this blooms, I've got that red and white. Even though it's not a native, the clearwing, I never can say that word, sphinx moths or hummingbird moths.
Oh, hummingbird moths, yeah.
Love that White David. They come just at dark, and they just will cover it. There's been 15 or 20 of them on there. And then the bright orange of the Rudbeckia. You gotta have a little artsy stuff once in a while. I don't like too much, but I like a little bit.
Now, where did you find the ladder?
Oh my God, it was in my basement. It's probably 60 years old. And I know some of that's the paint from the kitchen, and the hummingbirds sometimes like the petunias. I do have a few hummingbirds that come in. They like to come when I'm watering. They will actually even fly in the water. They're so cute. It's my pretty little oak tree that's so important to our pollinators. I think a mature oak tree hosts like over 100 pollinators. Everything from certain bugs to moths to, yeah, just a really important keystone plant to have in your yard. I don't think you should ever be afraid about moving a plant that it doesn't work in a certain area. Sometimes plants move themselves. Oh, look, weeds.
You mentioned a little bit ago that you love weeding.
I do.
What do you love about weeding?
I think it's mindless. So you can just go someplace in your mind. I find it really relaxing and soothing, and you have no problems, no worries, no job, no nothing. You're just down there, and there's something about having your hands in the dirt.
We hope you're enjoying this episode of Great Gardening and maybe even picking up a few fresh ideas to try in your own backyard. I'm Tara Billman, Annual Giving Manager here at PBS North, and I'm joined by Natalie Hest, our Director of Development.
And maybe Great Gardening has inspired you to try something new, helped you tackle a challenge, or simply brightened your day. We love seeing those beautiful gardens of neighbors just like Judith Johnson in Hibbing and all across the region.
And it's shows like this that make public television so valuable. They're more than just entertainment. They're a bridge to learning, inspiration, and community connection. But none of it happens without the generous support of people like you.
By giving today, you're helping us provide children with enriching programs that spark their curiosity. You're also supporting our curious adults who are eager to expand their knowledge, explore new ideas, and connect with meaningful stories.
Your contribution makes all of this possible, from trusted news to local documentaries that share our region's voices and perspective. And right now, we're just $840 away from our goal. And with your help, we will get there.
We caught up earlier this week with Sharon to find out why she values public media and why she feels PBS North makes a real difference. Here's what she shared with us.
My favorite memories of childhood include enjoying shows like Sesame Street, Reading Rainbow, and Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. Shows like these open the gateway to other cultures and instilled the love of reading and exploration. Those shows helped shape who I am, and I love that my own kids and family are able to enjoy impactful shows on PBS too. Now, being able to host shows on PBS North took it to a whole new level. Shows like Great Gardening or The Great Minnesota Recipe, they're just about people. And PBS North gave me a way to give back, to share real, useful knowledge in a way that's honest, down to earth, and rooted in our community. I'm proud to be a member of PBS North and to be a part of something that helps foster growing connection, trust, and a stronger community. If you share these feelings, I encourage you to support PBS North.
Sharon's story really captures the spirit of public media, connecting, educating, and building community. And thanks to supporters like you, PBS North can continue bringing programs like Great Gardening, featuring our local experts, Bob and Deb. They know exactly what it takes to garden here in the Northland, navigating the short growing seasons, unpredictable weather, and unique soil conditions. This kind of guidance makes all the difference, and PBS North delivers it free for everyone.
And your support is what keeps these resources available to our entire community. And with the recent cuts to our funding, your support matters now more than ever. When you give today, you help keep Great Gardening strong and sustain other local favorites like Minnesota Historia and Doctors on Call. You're also making sure that kids, families, and lifelong learners across our region still have access.
That's right, and when you give to PBS North, you're doing so much more than supporting what's on the screen. You're helping expand educational opportunities, preserve our unique stories, and bring communities across the Northland closer together.
Becoming a monthly sustainer is one of the easiest and most impactful ways to help. Whatever fits your budget, it will provide steady, reliable support and helps us plan ahead and keep administrative costs down.
You can start your sustaining donation right now by calling 218-788-2844 or by going online to pbsnorth.org. When you do, you'll be part of the team keeping local public media strong right here in the Northland.
Sustaining membership is an easy, convenient, and an affordable way to support the programs you love. Sustaining members make an ongoing monthly contribution from either their credit card or checking account. Just choose the monthly amount you'd like to give, then go online and we'll get it set up for you. If you want to change your sustaining membership, just contact us. Monthly contributions start as low as $5 per month. Go online. Start your sustaining membership right now.
PBS North is your family's connection to information, education, and entertainment. From Native Report and Almanac North to the most trusted children's programs around, we put you at the center of everything we do.
And we are all about making this programming accessible to everyone in our community in many ways. You can watch live on your computer or laptop at pbsnorth.org or stream all of our channels, including Create and Explore, anytime on the free PBS app on your smart TV.
And when you give just $5 per month or more, you'll unlock the PBS North Passport, a streaming library full of incredible shows, giving you the opportunity to watch on your schedule.
You'll be able to catch up on shows you may have missed, binge watch the latest dramas, and revisit some of your all-time favorites. And the best part, you can watch whenever and wherever you want.
Tell you about PBS Passport, a member benefit that is
absolutely amazing.
Agreed. Make a qualifying donation to this PBS station and you can enjoy all that PBS Passport has to offer with the PBS app or online. What you'll get? A new you. Picture it. You could be a theater buff, an Epicurious wonder, a science dynamo, a history savant, or just a well-rounded, interesting delight. What journey will you take? Go online or reach out to the number on the screen to give now and take advantage of PBS Passport today.
Many thanks to Sir Benedict's Tavern on the Lake for providing dinner for our crew and volunteers, and to the Duluth Garden Flower Society for answering the phones tonight. And a special thanks to Lawrence and Catherine from Duluth for stepping up with their pledges of support.
We've heard from folks in Duluth, but we still need to hear maybe from folks in Hibbing or Superior. If you're tuning in, we would love to hear from you and add your name to the list. Every gift helps, and we're just $840 away from hitting our goal.
So there's still time to make your gift. Give us a call at 218-788-2844 or donate online at pbsnorth.org.
Thank you for being part of the great gardening community and for standing with your local public television station, PBS North.
When you invest in PBS North, you help keep great gardening growing strong, bringing expert advice and inspiration to your community. Support PBS North with a gift of just $7 a month as a sustainer. And we'll send you the Glass Propagation Plant Station, a stylish wooden frame holding 4 glass tubes, perfect for rooting cuttings and helping your plants thrive. Its elegant vintage design fits beautifully in any space. With a sustaining gift of $10 a month, you'll receive the 4-Season Farm Gardener's Cookbook, a beautiful 2-in-1 guide that shows you how to grow what you eat and cook what you grow, packed with 120 seasonal recipes and practical tips. This cookbook helps you make the most of your garden's bounty all year long. When you contribute $15 a month, we'll thank you with a 1-year subscription to Northern Gardener Magazine, an award-winning publication full of expert advice and seasonal guidance, tailored especially for gardeners in our region. Your support ensures PBS North can continue to deliver local stories, expert gardening tips, and inspiration all year round. Make your gift today by calling 218-788-2844 or visiting pbsnorth.org. Thank you.
Again, what a great collection of thank you gifts for your support. Now, Deb, you've got another demonstration for us using porch pots.
Right, so I just wanted to demonstrate some refresh. So people might have porch pots that look very, very sad. This is a Aeranthemum, and it looks sad. But if we clip this back, take off all the old seeds, old flowers, and just clean it up, then we will get a flush of flowers, and then it'll give you that mum look without having to rip it apart and do another mum in its place, and it'll just refresh. And it won't take long to recover, and you can see it's already budding up down low. So just clean it up, do the best job you can, get all those old seed heads out of there, and then it'll start to bud. And then if you have a spider plant, like this one has a spider plant, and sometimes spider plants can take over mixed containers, all you gotta do is cut that spider plant way back, and it'll slow it way down and it won't take over. So that's an easy fix for anybody that's struggling with a spider taking over. And then also in this pot is a geranium that just needs a really good cleanup, but you will be amazed at how this will flush and how much better it will be. And then we like to use like a time-released Osmocote type fertilizer to give it a boost. So that's an easy fix for a porch pot. Another easy kind of cheat is this, and you can't really see too well, but this is a gold arborvitae. It's a small one. You can grow it in a pot, and it's fantastic. But to do a little update for the fall, you could take just a mum, get one of your mums, not that expensive, and just starting to bud. You could pot that into this pot, and then you could also find either like the rubrum grass, like this, to add to it, or more of the the flowering kale to add, and then that gives you a nice fall pot. Plus it will be good when everything dies back. Then you can decorate this for the winter, and you could keep it like this, just keep it well watered and not too much direct sun. So that would be an easy porch pot to make. Also, you can take you can get little mixed bowls, and it's super easy to take a bowl. This one has everything already in it, and then you could just take it and put it right into another container and just flip it right in, and then this would be easy to take care of, easier to water. The bigger the container, the easier it is to take care of, and then it'll do really well up until almost November 1st. So if you got some really sad porch pots, just pull out the old material, put in some mums, put in some kale, and put in some grass, and they're done. And super simple to fix.
Great. Maybe you should caution people a little bit that anything you want to bring through the winter, we really got to get those pots down in the ground or protected, or in a porch that's got a little heat. Correct. Because they will not make it through.
Right, and most of these are all just annual mums. These guys are the garden mums, super floriferous, and not real hardy.
Thank you so much, Deb. Now we have time for one last round of viewer questions. Paul, who's by Hartley, is wondering why his basswood is dropping so much like pods, seeds, and pollen this year. It doesn't happen every year.
I'm sure glad that our volunteers, we want to thank the folks that are taking the phones and the questions, because we know it's Hartley, which is Duluth, of course, and we can almost say for certain. Duluth's been very dry. It started last fall. There wasn't a lot of snowfall at all. That's just a survival mechanism. This plant tree senses the fact that it's very dry, so it sets all of this seed. We've seen it
die. It's feeling like it's going to die.
Right. So it moves to the reproductive phase. We've seen that on the Samaras, on maples, the helicopters that are jumping around. They set very early in Duluth, not over the hill, not where they've had all the rest of the rain.
Not Zim, where we're really
not where you are.
Yep.
No, but we are seeing this on any number of trees. They are setting seed early because of the dry conditions.
And it'll be okay for next year.
Should be. Yeah, they got a good root
When
system.
you see that, maybe you should give it a water.
You
If
could.
You see it doing that.
But water thoroughly. They got a
Exactly,
large
water
tree.
deep.
Yeah, you're not going to be able to do that with a little spritz.
Great. Candace has a beautiful, healthy limelight hydrangea, sent in a beautiful flower that was bought this spring. She put it in a pot because the area she intended to plant it in was not ready. Now she doesn't know if it's going to be ready this year. Can she leave it in the pot over the winter, or does she need to get it in the ground?
She needs to do both. She can do both. She can leave it in that pot, and then she can put that pot into the ground. So dig a hole that's big enough, because then it's easy to move. That's if the area's not ready. And the closer it is to the house, the more protected it is, the more steady the temperature will be. And then it'll make it really easy to pull out and to repot. Because if she puts it in now, it might start to grow in, and it might cause some stress.
Nice, good solution. Fred in Two Harpers wants to know what honeyberry varieties do well in his area, and what spacing do they need?
Oh, good
More
question.
important, isn't it the pollinators? I mean, the cross-pollinating and picking the right
Yeah,
varieties.
get a couple varieties.
Yeah.
There's Aurora. Aurora is one that a lot of people grow.
Yep.
I don't think varieties are as critical really as getting them spaced properly and
Enough room.
protecting from the birds when that fruit sets. So pollinetting, I think, is going to be the key there to get the quarter-inch pollinetting so that you get a crop from them eventually. They're not pH sensitive, so that's great. You don't have to worry about that. They are really a good crop, but so good the birds want them before you can get them.
They're delicious. Yep.
Jim in Brookston has apple tree leaves that are turning yellow and red already. Does this seem a little early?
He's in Brookston.
Is it dry over there, Bob?
I don't know. We've seen this variability. That certainly could be a factor. We'd like to know how old that tree is and if this is something unique. The one thing we're always concerned about is fire blight. It is early to answer his question, really, because we're just beginning to set fruit up on them right now. So it's a little early. That plant's under stress for one reason or another. If he's seeing any darkened areas, any shepherd crooks, that's potentially fire blight, which always concerns us with apples. So he's going to watch that a little bit. But that tree is stressed for whatever reason. If we had a chance to follow up, maybe we could figure that out.
Sounds good. Ron in Pike Lake and Mary in Duluth have questions about getting rid of fly maggots. Mary has raspberries, and in mid-July there was a fly and then tiny maggots in the berries. Is there anything that can treat the raspberries and still be edible?
Here's the
process
challenge.
the fruit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the challenge. There are any number of things that could take down. This is a spotted winged Drosophila. It's a small fruit fly. The problem is it lays its eggs in a very, very ripe fruit. And anything you might want to apply has a waiting period. By that time, the fruit is already overdone. So go ahead. What you're going to do is
so
harvest.
you're either going to you're going to process it, but I like to freeze everything. I want to freeze it, then I can process it. I can make jelly out of it. I can do a multitude of things with my raspberries. But I just want to freeze them because the cold temperature or the hot temperature is going to do the same thing.
And just kill those bugs.
Yep. Kill
Well, you've got the larvae in there. You're not going to worry about that, or the eggs in there, and you're going to harvest every day or every other day. You're not going to let them go, and you're not going to let any fruit hit the ground because then that cycle continues. So just consume, freeze, process daily. As if you don't have anything else to do,
it's so
right?
easy on the raspberry too. Right.
Shirley in Marengo, Wisconsin, and northern Wisconsin has some shrubs and rhododendrons. Most of the leaves are brown and curled from the harsh winter. Should you cut them back or leave them? The plants are about 25 years old.
If it's green, we leave everything that's green because they're already under stress. And if it continues to be dry where they are located, don't hesitate to get some water on there. And then I probably wouldn't be cutting it back if they're all, yeah, let's wait. We want to do that right after the bloom.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for joining us this evening for our second summer special of Great Gardening. We hope today's episode has inspired you to get out and enjoy your garden, big or small. Until next time, we encourage you to stay connected. Visit pbsnorth.org, follow us on social media, and continue to send in your questions and photos. Remember, Great Gardening is a show made for you and by you, with support from viewers just like you. It's your generosity that keeps local programming thriving, and we are so grateful for your continued involvement. And of course, a special thank you to our gardening experts, Bob Olen and Deb Byrns Erickson, for sharing their time and expertise. We'll see you in September with even more tips to help you grow your garden and to see what you've grown this season. From all of us here at Great Gardening and PBS North, thank you for watching. Have a wonderful evening. Good night.